Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss about another topic which is Get Diagnostics. Okay, so from today onwards, we are going to discuss about only about the Get Diagnostic statement. We will see what is Get Diagnostic, and there are couple of information which we can retrieve from this statement. So one by one, we will discuss those statement values as well. Okay, with their all possible outcomes. So let's start with a very basic thing, the definition for get diagnostics, like why we use get diagnostic. Okay, so get diagnostic is a statement which we used in order to fetch some information regarding the last executed SQL statement. Okay, let me make it more clear. Whenever you are executing any SQL statement, it returns some information. Now to capture those information, especially the diagnostics information, what we do, we execute get diagnostics statement just after that particular SQL statement. Let's say you are reading some file with a cursor. So just after declaring the cursor or after fetching the data from cursor, you can put your get diagnostic just after to it, after that, right? Just after that you can write get diagnostic statement in order to capture those information which was returned by the last or the most recent executed SQL statement. Clear? So what it will do, it will mainly provide us the last executed information about the last executed SQL statement. This is all about get diagnostics. Clear? Now this type of information we can use in order to perform some diagnosis. Let's say if there is something wrong in the query, then also it is very useful for us. And apart from this, it returns various conditions, various information we can use from this get diagnostic, we can retrieve from it, right? So and like couple of statements are also there which we can use with get diagnostic in order to fetch the information. So one by one we will discuss each and every possible scenario. We will create the scenarios with programs, and then we'll understand how we are utilizing the get diagnostics function in order to fetch the information from the last executed SQL statement. Clear? So this is all about the theoretical portion. Now we will see some examples. Okay, so for today's session we will just focus on the first example, get diag 1, and we'll see what we have written here. Okay, so as I told you that it returns the information regarding the last executed SQL statement. So for sure we need something in a program which is executing SQL, and then after that we will use the get diagnostics function or get diagnostics statement. Okay, and the first thing that we are retrieving from get diagnostic is command function. Okay, so we are going to use command function in order to retrieve get diagnostics. We are using get diagnostics in order to retrieve command function information. Okay, so let's see what is this command function and how we are using get diagnostics. So first of all, we are going to use another cursor example, and regarding cursor we already know, like we have covered couple of scenarios previously also, where we learned about all the concepts regarding the cursors, right? So for now we are just focusing on the get diagnostic part, and cursor related thing I will just explain in a short way. Okay, so that we can pick up from there and we can focus on the get diagnostic. But if you are not sure how we are using cursors and you are not covered those sessions, then I would recommend you to go back and check the playlist again, because all these sessions are in a sequential manner and it would help you to grab the concepts easily, because right now we are just going with the flow and we are learning about the get diagnostics. Okay, fine. So let's start with a short description of these things that we have written here. So first of all, we are declaring one constant with the name SQL state underscore valid, and this constant we will use in order to verify the query. And here we have stored 5 times 0. So if query is returning SQL state which is equal to 5 times zeros, or you can say SQL state underscore valid, then it means query has been executed successfully. Otherwise, there is something wrong in the query, and accordingly we can print the error message. Okay. Afterwards, we are declaring some variables that we are going to use in program. So first variable is the SQL STMT of character 100. and this variable we will use to prepare the string. Then we have w underscore stu name, which we will use in order to fetch the name, student name from the query. And then this is very important variable, because for now we are just focusing on the get diagnostics only, right? So this variable we will use with get diagnostics itself. So that's why I'm name it as gd underscore info, get diagnostic underscore info, and the length is varchar 128. Now there could be one question, why we are deciding 128 only? Because when you check the information regarding the get diagnostic with on IBM official website, then you will find that there are all the possible statement, or for all the possible value, everything is fixed, like how much length is required. There is one table from which we can identify, yes, I'm if I'm fetching the if I'm fetching the command function, so for that it should be 128 only. So accordingly I have declared. So you can check out the website and accordingly declare the variable for which you are retrieving the values. Then we have one result variable, because this gd info is 128 length, so we are not supposed to print this directly. So what we will do, we will trim out the output of this value and store it into the result variable, and then later we will print the result. Okay. Afterwards we are setting the commit option to star none. Here we are doing, and then we are preparing the string for a statement. So to prepare the string, you need to write SQLRPGLE select student name from, and then students where student ID is 100, fetch first row only. So this is just a simple query which will delete the data for student ID 100. Okay, we are not going to discuss more about this because this thing we have already know, and we are just focusing on the get diagnostic part. Then we are preparing the statement from the string. So exec SQL prepare stmt1 from SQL stmt string. Now after that we are using this get diagnostic, because I want to check what all diagnostic information we are getting just after this statement execution, because this is a SQL statement, and we know that we can use get diagnostic after any SQL statement. Even if you try to fetch after this, it will work, it should work, right? So but for now I'm just fetching the information just after this prepare statement. So for that you need to write the syntax exec SQL get diagnostics, and then this is the host variable which we are providing here, which will hold the output retrieved from this command function. So whatever the value command function will return will be stored into this host variable gd underscore info. Then we are trimming the information which we have retrieved inside gd underscore info, and then we are storing it in result, and later we are printing the result variable. So what it will do, this statement, now we are going to repeat this part again and again, but every time the value gets changed. Why? Because every time it depends on the last executed SQL statement. Right now the last executed SQL statement is prepare statement, right? So the value would be different. Similarly, if we move forward, like here you can see after declaring the cursor, I'm again using the same lines of code, right? But this time the value of gd information will get changed, because this time it would refer to the last executed SQL statement, which is for declaring the cursor. Okay, now doing page down, here you can see we are opening the cursor, and again I'm checking for the get diagnostic information for command function. So it will return the information, then we will trim it, and then we will display it. This time also it will change, because the last executed SQL statement is open C1 for opening the cursor. After that we are fetching the information from cursor into student name variable, and then we are checking again for the SQL statement for the get diagnostic information, and it whatever the value we are fetching, we are just trimming it and then displaying it with a result variable. After that we are just doing the basic validation for the SQL state. We are checking if SQL state is equal to SQL state underscore valid, then display w underscore student name, else display the error occurred with the message dsply SQL state, and then do end if, close the cursor, and after closing the cursor, get diagnostic information into command function. So we are just fetching the again command function value with the help of Get Diagnostics. And then we are setting the INLR to star on. So this is how we are utilizing Get Diagnostic just after every SQL statement, so that we will find out all possible outcomes that we can retrieve with the help of command function using Get Diagnostics. Okay, so let me compile it, but with source, because we are going to debug it to make it clear. Okay, so here I will write dbg view and with the star source, enter, compiled. It is compiled. Now we will set it on debug mode, strdbg f4, program name is pasted, then we will make it yes, and here also yes. Okay, so in some time it will show the debug screen where we will put the breakpoint, and then we will proceed step by step in order to check each and every execution, and we will also tally the values for the gd underscore info which we are retrieving from the get diagnostic command function. So here I'm setting br1, pressing F10, and then I'm calling this function. Now F10, you can see string is prepared, then we are preparing the statement, and then we are using the exec SQL for get diagnostic, because after preparing the statement we are checking for the get diagnostic, and what value we are retrieving? Command function. So what value command function will indicate? Like it will indicate which type of function, or you can say which type of SQL statement you were using just before this get diagnostics, or you can say most recent SQL statement. It will tell the nature of most recent SQL executed statement. So let's see what value we have got here for GD info. It is returning prepare, and prepare is indicating that something is getting prepared in the previous executed SQL statement. Then we are printing it. Then we are doing declare. After declare, we are again checking for GD info, and this time again it is preparing. Why? This time also we are at least we are doing the preparation of cursor, right? Declaring cursor is also something related to preparing cursor, right? That's why it is returning prepare again. Now pressing F10, F10 again. This time we are doing open, and if I check the GD info after open, it will return dynamic open, because the last executed SQL function is used in order to perform dynamic opening of the cursor. Then pressing F10, we are doing the fetch. After fetch, when you check for the GD info, it will return the value which is dynamic fetch. So this statement, this command function return value is showing the nature of the last executed SQL statement, which is dynamic fetch. Pressing F10 again, displaying as per the SQL statement, it is showing student name, it is blank for now. So just focus on the get diagnostic, because we are not interested in this information. We are just checking for the get diagnostics information. Then we are checking, we are doing the close cursor, and here you can see the value is dynamic close cursor. So it is indicating that we have the last executed, which means the SQL statement which is executed just prior to this get diagnostic is closed, and the nature of this command function is returning, the nature of this statement is dynamic close cursor, which is written by the command function. So what we are doing here, we are executing we are retrieving the command function value into GD info with the help of get diagnostics function, then displaying it, INLR is on, and end of the program. So let's quickly debug the program, enddbg, and call it again just to show you the all output. Prepare again, dynamic open, dynamic fetch, blank, which is for the logic which we have retrieved, like which is coming from query, so just skip for now. Then dynamic close cursor. Okay, so this is how we can utilize the get diagnostic statement in order to fetch command function value in SQLRPGLE program. Okay, so these are the information that we have got, and there are many more possible outcome, because for now we are just using the opening cursor, closing cursor, declaring cursor, right? But there might be any other SQL statement as well. So according to the last executed SQL statement, it will return the value in command function. So it is totally dependent on the last value which you have executed with the help of command, last value which you have executed for SQL. So whatever the value you have executed, whatever the query you have executed prior to get diagnostic, then command function will retrieve the information for that particular query itself. Okay. So it means there are many chances of getting other values as well, because it is totally dependent on the SQL query. But overall, what we have discussed in this session is how to use Get Diagnostic, what is Get Diagnostics, and what all information we can retrieve from, like there are a couple of information which we can retrieve with Get Diagnostics, and for time being we are just focusing on the first statement, which is command function. So we just discussed what all possible values we can retrieve with the help of command function. So yeah, that's all for this session. I hope it is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.